right. Hello, everyone. This is Calvin Russell here, CEO and founder of 850 Club Credit Consultation. Hope you guys can hear us okay. We are here at the famous Sip and Savor Chicago location right here on 43rd Street. And we do have here the owner, Mr. Trez Pugh. So, all right. So we've got a few questions for him, and of course we want to go straight into it. I know we wanted to start a little bit earlier, but we had a good problem. The restaurant was actually full of people, and we want to make sure that he didn't miss out on any customers, any business. So, but now here we are. So first, I want to thank you for actually doing this interview with us.
I appreciate it.
All right, perfect. So now let's tell us a little about yourself. So now, where are you from?
From Chicago, grew up on the near north side in Old Town.
Okay.
So, simple. Went to high school at Lincoln Park, which was called Waller, over on Armitage.
Okay.
Left there and went to college at University of Illinois, Chicago, Circle at the time.
Okay.
Left there and went into the military for a little while.
Wow.
Came back, worked for Social Security Administration, and then started working for the Postal Service, and got my degree and started doing other things like investing in real estate and opening up businesses.
There you go. All right. Well, a lot of stuff, happened in between that. And I want to kind of spend time on just the importance of just business ownership. I know a lot of people have ideas, and a lot of people think that, they're ready for that brick and mortar. And they say to themselves, you know what? It would be amazing if I could take my idea, turn it into a business, and then go into into an actual restaurant, or an actual as you say, just a face front for the business, like that brick and mortar, as we always say. So now, kind of going into the money side of it, I know a lot of people have a lot of great ideas and things of that sort. How are you able to come up with let's say the capital, or put everything together to actually get not just of course this place of business, but as we understand, you're working on your third location, right?
That's correct.
Okay, perfect. And how did all that come about?
Wow, that was a lot to digest. It was a lot in that question.
Sorry about that.
Let me start with this. Anyone that wants to go into your business, and please listen to this, have your credit tight. Unless you are a trust fund, baby, or you have some sponsors, it's going to take a lot of coin. So I would say make sure you take care of your credit first and foremost. For me, I had a lot of help with family, friends, and the credit was nice. But the main thing you want to do is take your time, do your due diligence. If you're going into a brick and mortar, you need to really understand one thing. You're going to have gas, light, water, insurance, taxes, the mortgage, then equipment, repairs. So it's a lot more money involved in it. So if you think you need, say, $50,000 to start up, I beg to differ and say you're probably going to need $85,000 to $90,000.
Wow.
My advice to people would be, if you're going to go into business and you're going to go into brick and mortar, talk to someone who's doing it and doing it well. Everybody has an opinion out here, and they want to tell you how to do things.
Yeah.
And you ask them, well, you've been doing this? No, not at all.
Right.
So if you want to see it and do it, go to someone who's already performed it. And for me, I was able to look at certain people that was doing things, not in business, but in real estate.
Okay.
Because that's where I got my start in real estate. I learned from their pitfalls, their shortcomings, and I learned that, if somebody made a mistake doing something, why would I go and do the same thing?
Right.
Try to do something different. Right. And be humble, be able to listen. So,
wow. Okay.
Hopefully I answered all of that.
No,
you put a lot on me.
That's the thing, is that you hit a couple great points. I know a lot of people, they want to have that brick and mortar, and like you mentioned, I think a lot of people forget about the things that you have to pay for. Like you said, utilities, mortgage, and again, it's not to keep anyone away from doing that, but it's just making sure we set the expectations properly. So now, what made you go into coffee out of all things, especially transitioning from real estate?
Well, it was kind of a fluke, to be honest. I happen to own this building we're in now, and it was a commercial space. I never drank coffee, to be honest. And I had a partner of mine I grew up with who drank coffee all through grammar school, high school, as long as I've known him, man. He found out that I owned the building, and at the time, him and another friend of his wanted to open a coffee house. And they happened to see that I had this space available, and it was almost like a perfect marriage. Not only did they want to open a coffee house, they needed the space, and they wanted another partner. I didn't know at the time. I thought I was just going to be a landlord and give them a break here. So at the time, I had a lot of capital. I had the bricks, which was the space. They had the equipment and the know-how.
Wow.
So once we married that all together, you would think it would be a perfect marriage, but
business happens.
Yeah, business happens, and like marriages or certain relationships or jobs, sometimes you got to move on, and that's what happened. And that was Bronzeville Coffee House.
Wow.
After that, had its issues. I shut it down and came back under the name Sip and Savor.
Wow. And where did that name come from?
I don't know, man. It used to be called Sip when I first opened. I just had the thing. I want to call my spot Sip. And what happened was, it was another young lady that owned a coffee house up north called Sip Nancy's Gourmet Teas or something. Yeah. And somehow she found out my name was Sip, and if you Google them, mine came up first. And it was a bunch of mess. Her attorney got a hold of my attorney. My attorney was like, no, he's not going to change it. Yeah. She was so adamant, and it cost so much money to go back and forth to court. I told my attorney, I said, what can we do to stop all of this? And he said, just add something else to Sip. Oh. And I came up with Sip and Savor.
Wow. So there you go. Isn't that something? I remember when my wife and I actually came here for the first time. There was, I forgot the name, but he was a big blogger guy. And he had mentioned, like there was, a coffee shop popping up, in the Bronzeville area. Right. And then, of course, we was like, you know what? If we're going to be, we just happened to be in the area around that same week. And we came here, and not only was it a great selection to choose from, but everything was priced just like accordingly. Right. So it made sense. We like the vibe. We like how, and we just like the feel of it. And then to find out that you were, of course, making other locations, we said not only is this a business, but it's a successful business to where you're now opening up multiple locations. So now that's the next thing. How does a person know? Let's say a person is watching, because we know we have different viewers who's going to watch this. What if we have people that already have that one location, and they're I guess the question is, how do they know they're ready for that next location?
That is a great question. I don't know if you ever really know. Yeah. For me, it was the fact that opportunity presented itself. And sometimes you never know how opportunity may come. It may come in the form of a letter, an email, a customer that happens to be a developer that's developing something and need a coffee house. If you wish to go by the way you should expand, the way the books have it, you should be busting at the seams, making a ton of money, and need to expand. In my mind, it's opportunity. And what I mean by opportunity is, if you're a developer, you come in my coffee house, you like what I'm doing, and you say, hey, Trez, I need you in my coffee house. I said, how bad you need me in there? You said, bad enough to pay for your build out and your equipment. I said, okay, well, that's going to save me about $180,000. It's time for me to expand.
There you go.
Because if the brand is already doing pretty good here, all I have to do now is market it, look at that area where you're at. Hopefully there's a need for what I'm trying to do here, that community piece. Yeah. And say to them, hey, who's the alderman here? I want to go talk to them. Is it a good fit? I mean, I just don't go right away. Yeah. I check with the community, check with the alderman, do my due diligence, and then I expand. It doesn't mean I'm busting at the seams here and I'm making a ton of loot. Right. It means that somebody that came along about to take 180, almost 200,000 off of me that I would have to pay if I would expand, say 3 years down the road.
Got you.
So that's what I try to do.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because opportunity does present itself, and I think that so many times people wait on that perfect time or whatever. And that's the thing, is that when it's like you said, you'll know when it's time to get to that point. And let's talk a little bit more about, I know we kind of touched a little bit on credit. Of course, credit was great, things of that sort. But what I like about your story is that everything is not 100% based on credit. You said you had some private investors. Right. You don't have to go into who they were, but and how does that? You don't have to go too much into how the process works, but how did that work for you?
Okay. I'll just give you a simple explanation of how it would work. If, say, you had a business. If you got a business and it's starting to thrive, people see it, news trying to do articles on you, you got the different radio stations want to get you there. You're popping up on social media all the time. So you get known. Your words getting spread. People see that and they want a part of that sometimes. So they may come and say, hey, you need a partner? I can bring something to the table. Well, for me, I don't want partners anymore. So for me, I would say, hey, if you want to be a part of this, you can invest in it and make money off of the business.
Right.
Because as a partner, you come in, like me, you're not going to get paid. Everything goes back into the business.
That's right.
Research, development, training, equipment, the look of the place, raises for my employees. If you want to hold on to good people, you got to pay them.
That's right.
It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. So all my money goes back into it. The average person come in want to make money.
Yeah.
So if you want to be an investor, if you got a business, and let's say this business is a coffee house.
Yeah.
I come in and I said, man, I really want to be a partner. You said, no, Trez, you're going to be a partner. But if you want to make money, you can make money. How?
Absolutely.
You asked me, if you want to lend me, say, $5,000.
Yeah.
You got money in a savings account that's making less than 1%.
Yeah.
You may offer me 3%. I may take it. If I take it, that means I can't have no decision-making process over your business. It's just like investing in Nike or McDonald's or whatever. I just sit back and every month, whatever I done paid you, you work out a deal to pay me back.
Wow.
What that does is take that pressure off of you from having to go into your savings account or your retirement account or asking your wife for money or your brothers or your friends. So that was a model that I kind of came up with that I use sometimes.
I like that because, you know, I think that a lot of times people they don't come up with creative ways to actually start funding their businesses. They think that, you know, if you want to give, as we always say, if you want to get money, you got to go to the bank. You know, but a lot of people are not in a position, you know, to do that. You know, so and I think that that's huge. Now, of course, we know recently Starbucks has been, you know, in the news. We don't have to go, you know, too deep into detail,
right?
You know, but at the same time, you know, how do you look at, you know, I would say your plan for as far as, let's say, for example, if someone is, you know, in here for an extended amount of time, or when people, and it's more so, I mean, how do you deal with something like that?
Well, I've trained my employees like this, and it's simple. If a person comes in here and they in here 30, 40 minutes, they done plugged up their laptop, charging their phone and everything.
Yeah.
My employees usually come from behind the counter. They don't ask, can I get you something? They just say, what would you like to order?
Yeah.
It's being aggressive. What would you like to order?
Yeah.
And usually it sparks, let me get a tea or a coffee. Now, a person said, well, I don't really want to get anything, or I'm just here. He said, well, you know, we have to pay for the electricity. We pay for internet. They've trained and said, this is what can put a business out of business.
Wow.
If the person is savvy and classy enough, they'll say, you know what, you're right. They'll go and buy something. If they that customer that just don't care, they'll be like, well, I don't want to buy nothing. And then we just ask them politely, you know, if you're going to be in there, please help us stay open. If they still don't want to do it, then we usually ask them, well, this may not be the place for you.
Right. I think that's professional. I think that's in a sense where, because I know it's a very tough, you know, type of thing to deal with.
It is.
People, you know, because again, you don't necessarily want to put anybody out, but at the same time, you know, this is a place of business.
But we're not going to call the police. I don't.
No.
I mean, that's just something we're not going to do.
Yeah.
But if a person has the right upbringing, they class and they elegant and they understand this place, the person that's doing that is not really your custom anyway.
Right.
That's the person that's coming in here trying to get over.
Absolutely right.
And when they leave out, finally, I'm not coming back, and you know that's why, you know, these businesses, be like, it's a blessing they don't come back because they run up your electric bill. So,
no, absolutely. I get that 1,000%. And I knew that, you know, of course, you would understand something like that, because on the ownership side, I think a lot of times we look at things as consumers, you know, and we're just like, you know, well, this should have happened. But again, on the business side, you know, it's, hey, listen, you know, this is a place of business, and, you know, wouldn't you like to help, you know, help keep us open, you know, that type of deal. So, you know what? We most definitely appreciate, you know, you taking out the time to actually, you know, to actually do this interview. Now, what would you say to aspiring entrepreneurs that are here? I know we got a couple questions that come in. Now, what advice do you have for aspiring entrepreneurs that say, you know what, I have that great idea. I'm not in a position to start that brick and mortar or whatever. You know, what type of advice would you give them? I know we kind of talked a little bit about before when we started. Being around certain people, and you know, some people that a lot of people that started with you, they're not with you now that things are going so well.
Give me a second, man. This,
what is
pomegranate raspberry? Fire, dude. I gotta hit it.
Pomegranate raspberry. You guys see that there? So
for aspiring entrepreneurs, I would say this: make sure you have a passion for what you're about to do. Don't go into it to make money. Go into it to make a difference. Make sure you understand that it's not for everybody.
Right.
You know, I was speaking at Loyola last night, and a question came up similar to this, and I was saying to some of the students there, you know, if you don't have a certain thing within you, you can't purchase it. And I always use the example of the younger generation like to get on Amazon and buy everything real quick,
Yeah.
go to Walgreens and snatch it off a rack. And you can't do that with empathy, passion, fortitude, hard work. You can't purchase that.
Yeah.
You can't go on Amazon, man, I want to order some hard work.
Yeah.
Dude, I want to get some fortitude. That's some
right.
resilience.
Right.
If it ain't here, it ain't here. So my thing to them would be, if you're not passionate about it, and what I mean by passion, when you get up in the morning, you throw your feet over and they hit the ground, you thinking of ways you can improve your business, help your employees be better, do something for the community. That's an entrepreneur. If you're not feeling like that, you might not want to do it. So I would say make sure you got the passion, make sure you got the drive for it, do your due diligence. Hear me out when I say this. Do your due diligence. Don't listen to people.
Yeah.
What I mean by trust but verify. First, oh, you could do this, it only costs X.
Yeah.
Go look and see how much it costs. And don't see how much it costs here, go see how much it costs there and everywhere else. And come up with an aggregate average and say, okay, it's going to cost me about this much to do.
Yeah.
Find out what all it entails. I would say if you're going to go into brick and mortar, know you're going to spend a whole lot more money than if you was doing a service industry type thing where you're on the internet and you doing something where you're selling stuff off the web.
Right.
Much more important. Understand if you're dealing with employees, make sure you have some type of manual and training.
Yeah.
People don't realize, but I run this business like a corporation. Every one of my employees, before they get hired through my general manager, has to go through a rigorous training. They got to read what I call an employee manual, which is complete with sexual harassment, time and attendance, dress code, the whole nine. They got to initial and sign it. So when something arises, they can't say, well, I didn't know
about it. Right.
So if you're going to run something, run it right, take your time, understand this is a marathon, it's not a sprint. And I know that's a lot to probably digest, but the main points I would take: do your due diligence, make sure your credit is tight, always trust, but verify everything that comes through.
Absolutely. You know, there's another thing I want to touch on too. Now, we know we got the location here, you know, on 43rd Street, and then the second location is where?
5301 South Hyde Park Boulevard in the Del Prado building.
Awesome. And then where is the third location going to be?
The Rosenwall. It is located at 78 East 47th Street, which is right on the corner of 47th and Michigan.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
wow.
that's going to be hot.
Okay. What makes that location different than this
Well,
one?
it's historical.
Yeah.
A lot of your famous and well-to-do African Americans lived in there.
Yeah.
Jesse Owens lived in there. I think Della Reese lived in there. Louis Armstrong. I mean, all the great jazz and blues, all of them stayed in there. That was the place to be back in the day.
Wow.
So I plan on doing something real nice when I hit that decor up.
Okay. Perfect. All right. Well, we most definitely appreciate your time and that you took out your busy day to actually put this together, and because we know we want to talk to a lot of aspiring you know, business owners, and as you guys heard it, you know, from him, you know, yourself, you know, it takes more than just you know, just your ideas, and it takes a lot to run that brick and mortar. That doesn't mean don't do it, just make sure that the expectations are right, that you don't necessarily have to do. Of course, credit does make things a lot easier, but there are other means of, you know, funding, you know, your business and things of that sort. So we most definitely appreciate your time.
Appreciate you, man.
Oh, yeah,
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Absolutely. Perfect. All right. And that wraps everything up. And make sure you guys please Google Sip and Savor. Find the nearest one that's closest to you. Stop by, support the business, and we'll see you guys soon.
Appreciate you guys. Hey, stay tuned. May 29th when Starbucks closed, we coming with it.
I know that's right. All right. See you guys.